Welcome back to Daily Dose Septuagint Edition. This is Greg Lanier, and we are continuing working our way through a handful of interesting passages from the Greek Old Testament. Today, we're taking a look at Numbers 24:17, a very famous oracle of Balaam, who was otherwise a bad guy, but in this case, the Spirit inspires him not to curse Israel, but to bless Israel. Let's take a look at how it is rendered in Greek. We're going to focus in on just the first half of the verse. Let's read it together. Dexo also, kai uki nun, makarizo, kai unk ingize, anatele astron ex Jacob, kai anastasitai anthropos ex Israel. Let's begin with the first few words here. Dexo is a future active indicative first singular, another athematic verb, deknumi, meaning to show or display, but since it's buddied up here with the dative of autos, we're going to say something like point to. So I will point to him, some sort of figure who is going to come. Kaiuki noon, but not now or not yet. So we got to wait for him. He's not here yet. Then we move on. Makarizo kaiukingize. So makarizo there is probably familiar. That's similar to makarios, if you know that from the Gospels. This is a present active indicative first singular. It's the verbal form that means to bless or to declare or deem someone to be happy. So it'd be something like, I declare him, that is this person, to be happy or blessed. But then we have kai unk ingize. Ingize there is from ingizo, present active indicative third singular. Got the nice nasal gamma there, and that means to draw near or to be near. So I will bless him, but he is not yet drawing near, something along those lines. Now we have the heart of the metaphor here. Anatele astronex Jacob. So anatele there is a liquid future. You see it drops an L in the future. You have a fake epsilon contract there with the liquid lambda. And this is from a verb anatello, which means to arise, or in certain cases to dawn, like the dawning of the sun. Astron there is derived from aster. This is the word for star. So the net effect is a star will arise or dawn from Jacob, ex Jacob. Now, what's interesting about that translation choice, as you can see, is that Anatello is chosen here by the translator to render what in the Hebrew reads something like walk from Darak. Perhaps the translator wanted to smooth out the metaphor, since typically stars rise as opposed to walk. Then we have kai anastasitai, that is from anastami, a future middle, third singular. Really kind of, in a certain sense, parallel to anatello. It means to rise up. And here the person rising up is an anthropos. So a man will rise up, ex Israel. That's parallel to the Jacob clause there, from Israel. Now, what's interesting about this line, and perhaps the more familiar form that you may be aware of from Numbers 24:17, is a scepter will arise. But the translator here has chosen to change the metaphor to man to make it clear that it's an actual human king. Throughout Jewish tradition, Dead Sea Scrolls and so forth, this is a very famous verse that is taken in strongly messianic directions. One of the clearest overall messianic or kingly promises in the Pentateuch, and it plays out that way in several different strands of Jewish traditions. But what's interesting is that it's never directly cited in the New Testament, although it seems to be quite clear. However, Matthew 2:2 is the closest we got. If you know the story, the Magi show up in the heart of Israel looking for a king. They go to Jerusalem, and the reason why they do so, and they tell this to King Herod, is Edom and Gar altu tan astera ente anatole. So for we saw his star, the astera there, Inte Anatole. You might see that that is a cognate of Anatole, the verb form. This is the noun form, but it largely means the same thing. A lot of translations will say, we saw his star in its rising. And many, many scholars argue that this is a direct allusion to Numbers 24:17, which would explain why these magi have shown up in Jerusalem. They see this prophecy being fulfilled. So that is Numbers 24:17.